I believe that when somebody says you're not fighting for the public, I cannot promote.
Even though we had expected Shakur to sign with Oscar, it now seems that things are different. Oscar De La Hoya recently said no to Shakur, surprisingly.
Telling him that all he does is run and this and that, but no, we've seen him fight like hard. He's a great fighter. You know, and in boxing, you're as good as your last fights.
It turns out that even Oscar was not compelled by Shakur's ability to make things happen.
A lot of combinations, being in great shape, have to have good footwork.
Shakur, on the other hand, did not take this as a simple choice. He fired back at Oscar, making interesting and heated claims.
For third quarter of this year, I would love that.
That's one of those big possibilities.
Actually, Zepeda wants Shakur. Like he loves the fact that he can fight Shakur.
Everyone around the sport who was observing Shakur is quite impressed with the latest developments surrounding him. The talented fighter whose promotional contract with Top Rank expired after his recent victory over Artem Harutyunyan is at the center of a promotional tug-of-war.
Where on one hand he wants the best to fight the best and lets promoters work with each other, and then he tries to freeze out fights. Like I don't know. Like
as speculation moved around about his next move, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions emerged as key players, only to make headlines for ruling out a deal with Stevenson. This twist has not only sparked interest, but has also put Stevenson's future in the spotlight. Now, Shakur Stevenson's association with Top Rank concluded with a unanimous decision win over Artem Harutyunyan. This victory, while significant in its own right, marked the end of an era for Stevenson as he ventured into free agency. Stevenson's contract with Top Rank had been a fruitful partnership, propelling him into the limelight and securing his place as a rising star in the boxing world.
Bob Arum is adamant that Shakur Stevenson gonna be a free agent after this fight, y'all. And the closer and closer we get to the fight, the more and more he keeps saying that. We can't just ignore it. Now,
the end of Stevenson's contract with Top Rank opened the door to numerous possibilities. As a free agent, Stevenson found himself at a crossroads, evaluating offers and considering the next steps in his career. Top Rank reportedly offered Stevenson a lucrative deal, a 5-fight contract worth a minimum of $15 million. However, Stevenson had his sights set on something more. Then came Oscar De La Hoya, a former boxing champion himself, who is known for his keen eye for talent and his ability to promote fighters to stardom. When Stevenson became a free agent, it wasn't long before De La Hoya expressed interest in the young fighter.
Shakur, give me a call. Would love to make a fight with you. He made a statement.
Through his X account, De La Hoya made a public declaration, praising Stevenson's talent. But then, in a move that surprised many, he ruled out his decision. De La Hoya's message was clear. You're a free agent, great fighter, great talent, but not for me. He continued, I believe that when somebody says they're not fighting for the public, I cannot promote them. This statement left everyone talking, as it was an unexpected move from De La Hoya, who is known for capitalizing on opportunities to sign top talent.
Shakur Stevenson, you're a free agent, you're a great fighter, great talent, but not for me.
Shakur Stevenson didn't remain silent in the face of De La Hoya's comments. Taking to social media, Stevenson addressed De La Hoya's remarks head on. He's mad because he found out I'm not signing with him. It's okay, Oscar De La Hoya. You'll get over it, Stevenson retorted. This response not only showed Stevenson's confidence, but also showed some tension between the two camps. Stevenson's decision not to sign with Golden Boy Promotions raised eyebrows and fueled speculation about his future. While he didn't explicitly state his next move, Stevenson's praise for his former promoter, Bob Arum of Top Rank, led many to believe he might return to familiar territory.
I would love to figure out a way to work with him. I think he's a very talented fighter. I strongly feel that Shakur needs some good dancing partners.
And despite exploring options with Matchroom Boxing, PBC, and Mayweather Promotions, Stevenson's path remained uncertain. Adding another layer to the heat, the World Boxing Council ordered a fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, a rising star under the Golden Boy banner. This order, however, didn't sit well with De La Hoya. In his Clapback Thursday discussions, De La Hoya expressed his displeasure with the WBC's mandate, questioning the rationale behind their decisions.
That's why you sent that bottle.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Yo, this is no cap. This is no cap.
I didn't even send that. It was a nigga from my section.
Let's start with the WBC ordering Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Ordering? What does that mean? They ordered Canelo versus Benavidez 3 years ago, and that hasn't happened. William will make his decision very soon, and he has 3 other options, De La Hoya stated. He further emphasized that while Stevenson is a great fighter and talent, the philosophical differences in promoting fighters were too significant to bridge.
And ordering Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Ordering? What does that mean? They ordered Canelo Benavidez like 3 years ago, and that hasn't happened. William will make his decision.
De La Hoya's comments about not promoting fighters who aren't fighting for the public alluded to Stevenson's style and approach in the ring. This philosophical clash underscored the complexities of promotional relationships in boxing, where business decisions are often influenced by personal beliefs and public perceptions. Now, inasmuch as all this is coming in, there was already some tension between De La Hoya and Shakur. This was evident when Shakur accused De La Hoya of using him. Now, Shakur Stevenson, despite holding the title of lightweight world champion, finds himself in a peculiar and frustrating position. Following an underwhelming performance against Edwin de los Santos in November last year, the Newark native has been on the hunt for a high-profile opponent. His frustration with the lack of action led him to briefly announce his retirement, signaling just how exasperated he had become.
Stevenson said, all right, now start scoring on this guy and emphasize the jab.
Quick. Sit back. Good. Reflexes.
Earlier this month, there appeared to be a glimmer of hope. Ahead of William Zepeda's successful fight on March 16th against Maxie Hughes, Golden Boy Promotions chief Oscar De La Hoya seemed to extend an olive branch to Stevenson. However, nothing substantial came from this apparent offer, leading Shakur to believe that De La Hoya's actions were merely a ploy for online attention. Stevenson expressed his doubts about De La Hoya's intentions in a message posted on X, where he called out the promotional chief's behavior. Yo, Oscar De La Hoya. I still haven't heard anything yet about Zepeda fighting me on July 6th, Stevenson wrote. How can you say my name over and over and not make the fight happen next? Was you using me to promote your fighter fight or? De La Hoya responded, indicating that the fight might not be completely off the table just yet. Zepeda is fighting soon for the 2nd time this year. I'll talk to your promoter in the 3rd quarter of this year, he replied. This interaction suggests that a bout between Stevenson and Zepeda could happen down the line, but as of now, Stevenson remains without a significant fight on the horizon. Oscar De La Hoya was very interested in signing Shakur Stevenson to his Golden Boy Promotions. Even in the first days, De La Hoya believed Shakur had great potential, but he needed to be careful with how he managed him. According to him, Shakur had to be matched with the right opponents to ensure his marketability and continued success. De La Hoya knew the importance of marketability in boxing. He understood that even a single loss could severely impact a fighter's career. This was especially true for Shakur, who, despite his undefeated record, needed careful handling to maintain his status. De La Hoya had William Zepeda, the #1 ranked fighter on his roster, who could be a potential opponent for Shakur. However, there was a risk. If Shakur were to fight Zepeda and lose, his marketability would take a significant hit. This scenario worried De La Hoya because he would then be stuck with Shakur until the end of his contract, which could last 4 or 5 fights.
So, regardless, look, I think Shakur is one of the best fighters out there. If it makes sense for us, then I'm sure we can work something out.
De La Hoya has a lot of experience in this area, we can agree, having promoted Floyd Mayweather Jr. for 15 to 16 fights during his career. He knew that finding the right opponents was crucial for a fighter's success. Mayweather was a different case. He could face strong opponents without the fear of losing. Shakur, on the other hand, was not as dominant at 135 pounds as he had been at lower weight classes. De La Hoya considered the possibility of signing Shakur, but he had to weigh his options carefully. He said, I believe there is a possibility. It depends on what I want to offer him, and it depends on what fighters I have on my roster. It depends on their vision.
Shakur's probably one of the best talents out there in the world. Why? Retire for what? Because you're frustrated? You don't get the right fights? Have patience.
This statement had already shown us some complexity of the situation. It wasn't just about signing Shakur, it was also about ensuring that he had the right opponents to maintain his winning streak. One of the main concerns for De La Hoya was Shakur's ability to handle tougher opponents. Shakur's recent fights against Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin de los Santos had shown that he struggled against stronger fighters. De los Santos, in particular, had come close to defeating Shakur. One judge even scored the fight narrowly in Shakur's favor with a 115-113 margin. This close call indicated that Shakur might not fare well against the top lightweight fighters.
Connects with some little combination jabs of the 300s, even with one hand. And instead,
De La Hoya believed that for Shakur to keep winning, he needed to be matched against fighters similar to his last opponent, Artem Harutyunyan. These were fighters he could beat, not those with significant punching power or aggressive styles. Shakur's lack of power at 135 pounds made it difficult for him to dominate as he had at 126 and 130 pounds. De La Hoya knew that if Shakur faced Zepeda, Gervonta Davis, Floyd Schofield, or Abdullah Mason, he would likely lose. Even Frank Martin, known for his power and pressure, would pose a serious threat to Shakur. De La Hoya also talked about the blueprint for success he used with Mayweather. He said, "I promoted Mayweather for 15 or 16 fights, so there's kind of like a blueprint there. He needs opponents, he needs the right names, he needs William Zepeda." This approach worked well for Mayweather, who faced good opposition without the fear of losing. However, De La Hoya couldn't apply the same strategy to Shakur, who wasn't as dominant. Another important aspect was determining Shakur's market value. De La Hoya admitted that this was challenging. He said, "I'm not sure what his market value is, and that's what's making it a little difficult. It makes it difficult for Top Rank and Bob Arum to determine what the value is."
Everybody heard Oscar. We talked with Shakur. He's ready to fight your guy. Let's make the fight. Nah, he's not ready yet, and all that shit.
Shakur's attitude also played a role in this. De La Hoya pointed out Shakur's statement, "Well, I don't fight for the people, I fight for me," didn't help his marketability. He emphasized the importance of fighting for the fans, as they were the ones who paid for tickets and pay-per-views. De La Hoya knew that a fight between Shakur and Zepeda would draw good ratings, and a match with Gervonta Tank Davis would do even better. However, he also knew that Shakur would likely lose these fights. This would necessitate rebuilding Shakur's career with easier opponents over the next 4 or 5 fights.
And I'm telling you right now, this is exclusive. William Zepeda will fight Shakur Stevenson. He will fight Shakur. I will make that fight next if Shakur calls me.
Such a scenario was not ideal for Shakur's marketability or for DAZN, the streaming service that would broadcast his fights. And we now can see why Oscar De La Hoya didn't find this deal very interesting. Before all this, Shakur Stevenson was already showing a keen interest in fighting William Zepeda. The WBC lightweight champion and free agent star was also ordered by the WBC to fight Zepeda, making it highly likely that this matchup will actually happen.
Bro, I could ask, bro, I'll call Oscar, I'll be like, yo, make that fight happen. I can make it happen. I'm going to make the fight happen, bro, or else I'm leaving the company. Oscar's on the golf course, bro.
Just recently, Stevenson was in Philadelphia for the Matchroom Boxing Show, headlined by Jaron Boots Ennis's hometown fight and stoppage win against David Avanesian. Since then, the Newark, New Jersey native had been engaged in ongoing conversations with Floyd Mayweather Jr., Oscar De La Hoya, who is now out of the math, and Eddie Hearn. He was carefully considering his next move and was excited about the attention he was receiving from these major promoters.
Well, that remains to be seen. Like
hey, look how little he is.
Tiny.
How much you been eating? I'm on weight right now.
It's lovely. I love seeing how everybody was out after me, Stevenson had said on DAZN. I hadn't really made a decision yet. I couldn't wait to sit at the table and talk and see who had the best options and setup for me. And we'll see where we went from there. Stevenson was focused on securing big fights and was interested in facing well-known fighters like William Zepeda, Gervonta Davis, and Vasily Lomachenko. He wanted the biggest and best fights available to him. At the time, Davis and Lomachenko seemed to be headed towards a fight against each other, which left the door open for Stevenson to potentially slug it out with his #1 contender, Zepeda, who had an impressive record of 31 wins with 27 knockouts.
I think when you're in that position, when you're the #1 contender in every organization, you have to make a statement like that. And that's exactly what he did. He was relentless.
On the same day Stevenson bested Harutyunyan, Zepeda had knocked out Giovanni Cabrera in 3 rounds. This made the prospect of a Stevenson versus Zepeda's fight even more intriguing. Zepeda is a hell of a fighter, Stevenson had acknowledged. I didn't even think I'd been in the ring in my professional career with a fighter like that. He threw a bunch of punches. He was great with his own style, and a guy like that would bring the best out of me. Stevenson's respect for Zepeda's abilities showed his willingness to take on challenging opponents. Oscar de la Hoya, Zepeda's promoter, had even stated that the only way Stevenson would get the Zepeda fight was by signing with Golden Boy Promotions. I believe there was absolutely an opportunity to sign Stevenson. De La Hoya had told Boxing Scene earlier in the week before the meeting with Stevenson took place on Thursday. It all depended on what I wanted to offer Stevenson. It all depended on what fighters we had on our roster. It all depended on their vision. I had promoted Floyd Mayweather for 16 fights, so there was a blueprint there. Stevenson needed opponents. He needed the right names. He needed William Zepeda.
I think you wash him.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook that nigga.
I honestly, I think you just I think it's like a Arturo Gatti, Floyd Mayweather type shit.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
De La Hoya saw similarities between Stevenson's situation and Floyd Mayweather's earlier career. He believed that with the right opponents, he could help build a new Mayweather out of Stevenson. Shakur was a tremendous talent, probably one of the best top 3 guys out there in the world. Seriously, and he was still young. But I wasn't sure what his market value was, and that was what was making it a little difficult, De La Hoya had said. It didn't help when Shakur told the world, I didn't fight for the people, I fought for me. Well, you had to fight for the fans. The fans paid you. The fans bought the tickets, bought the pay-per-views. Regardless, I thought Shakur was one of the best fighters out there. If it made sense for us, then I was sure we could work something out.
For the people, I fight for me. Well, you got to fight for the fans. The fans pay you. The fans are the ones who buy the tickets, buy the pay-per-views. So
De La Hoya emphasized that Stevenson had a lot of thinking to do, not just about signing with a promoter, but also looking at the details of what team could help him elevate to superstar status. He believed Stevenson was a fighter who deserved to make a lot of money, more than he was making at the time, but it started with Stevenson making the right decisions. Stevenson was also set to meet with Eddie Hearn. Hearn, who had a keen interest in signing Stevenson, had said, he was a tremendous fighter, but the business had to be right for everybody. The discussions with Hearn were another crucial step for Stevenson as he navigated his career as a free agent.
Golden Boy.
Yeah, really weird. I mean, terrible for boxing. You know, Oscar really makes some strange statements where on one hand he wants the best to fight the best and lets promoters work with each other, and then he tries to freeze out fights. Like, I don't know, like.
With only Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Eddie Hearn remaining in the running to sign Shakur Stevenson, the decision boils down to 2 distinct promotional approaches, each with its own set of advantages. Floyd Mayweather Jr., with his Mayweather Promotions, offers Shakur a wealth of experience and a blueprint that has proven successful with fighters like Gervonta Davis. Mayweather's deep understanding of the sport, coupled with his iconic status, could provide Shakur with invaluable mentorship and strategic guidance. To add to that, Mayweather Promotions established relationships within the boxing community, and their proven track record in promoting big fights could enhance Shakur's career trajectory. Mayweather's personal involvement might also ensure that Shakur gets high-profile fights, potentially increasing his marketability and earning potential.
No, look. You ain't got to play defense. So when you throw the jab, go ahead. Swing! No.
Oh, damn, I ain't grabbed your hand. Yo!
I'm trying to show him
that nigga defense so weird. What she was going to do? That nigga said, wake him.
You ain't got to do all that.
On the other hand, Eddie Hearn, with Matchroom Boxing, offers global exposure and extensive media reach through his partnership with Dazien. Hearn has a reputation for securing significant deals and organizing blockbuster events, which could be appealing to Shakur as he looks to elevate his career on an international stage. Hearn's promotional acumen and access to a broad array of fighters across various weight classes could provide Shakur with diverse and lucrative fight opportunities. Realistically, Shakur might lean towards Mayweather Promotions if he prioritizes mentorship from a legendary boxer and a more personalized approach to his career development. Conversely, if global exposure and high-profile, diverse fight opportunities are his primary goals, Matchroom Boxing with Eddie Hearn might be the more attractive option.
And Tank's not just a puncher, he's got a good boxing IQ as well. I just don't think he's technically, or the IQ is as good as Lomachenko or as good as Shakur Stevenson. But can
Stevenson's former promoter, Bob Arum, remains a wild card in this scenario. Despite Stevenson's initial rejection of Top Rank's $15 million offer, the respect and admiration he holds for Arum could play a crucial role in his decision-making process. Returning to Top Rank might not be off the table, especially if the terms align with Stevenson's ambitions for high-profile bouts. What do you think will be the best path now? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.